Here is all video. Hello everyone, here is some comics I have gotten. The first one is going to have most people gone, what the flippin' heck is that? This is Demon Hunter #1 from Atlas Comics. This was the only issue ever published, and Atlas Comics were a company in the 70s that went out of business after like a year. Probably wasn't a good idea to name it Atlas Comics when one of the industry leaders also used to be called Atlas Comics. But this Demon Hunter is of interest because this is technically the first appearance of the Marvel character Slayer Man, this guy from the Defenders. And this comic is by Anthony Davis and Rich Fulcher, and some names were changed around and some colours swapped when they took the character to Marvel, but all the backstory and elements of the character we know, they are introduced in this, and they are referred to in the Marvel books as his history. We even have Blue Oyster Card references in this, I think. The design is virtually the same, just with a different colour scheme. Quite fascinating in a way. This was the only issue ever published, and 2 years later he was a Marvel character. He first appeared in a Death Clock story, which really does just pick up his story where this ends. Sometimes you get really lucky and someone is selling a lot of comics that is the exact specific mix you want. Whenever you see a lot like that, a lot that either perfectly fills your collection gaps, or is just the right combination of issues or whatever, I think it is a sign that you need to get it. Then there is sometimes lots like this, which are the ones you want and then one you didn't want. These are some Days of Future's End one-shots, and I have wanted 4 of these for a while. Even before I gave Days of Future's End a look, I have wanted them. These 2 are Justice League ones. They are a 2-part story that is part of the Justice League Canada run, and they feature Captain Adamant. He is in them quite a lot. We also have Pantsless Stranger. This one I have wanted. It's the only issue of this run I was missing because I wasn't following Days of Future's End. But this is by the main book's creative team. I think Dan Diddy Dido is still getting plot credits, but Jim Tomatoes is scripting it here. Doesn't have the credits on the first page, and I didn't really want to go further in it to say in case it spoils the story for us. If that is the case, I have high hopes for this one. Jim Tomatoes really turned the New 52 Pantsless Stranger series around. It was a proper travesty for the first 3 or 4 issues, when it was just Dan Diddy Dido. Then he got Jim Tomatoes in as a scripter for a few issues, and after 2 or 3 more, Jim Tomatoes just took over writing the book proper. Then we have Johnny Constant. This character was a mixed bag during the New 52. He was a bit overused, and I still maintain him being a member of Dark Justice League just wasn't really a good use of the character. But there was plenty of New 52 stuff with him, where he was written quite well. He couldn't say bollocks anymore though, and bollocks is my favourite word in the world, so that was a problem. I have some of his solo series, and it really is a mixed bag, but it was usually at its best when it was incorporating the stuff from the wider DC universe. I mean, the supernatural and magic stuff from the DC universe, like Spectre, not the Justice League and superheroes. And this one is maybe like that because it's got Dr. Fates in it, or Johnny Constant wearing Dr. Fates' helmet. It might be good, it might be bad, I don't know. And then the one that I didn't want. This was when DC decided to revamp Nightbird, Dick Grayskull, and make him into a super spy who doesn't wear a costume, and just call him Grayskull. It was a silly idea, and probably Dan Diddy Dido trying to bury the character. But even more miserable is that Tom Queen is the writer. You can tell with Dan Diddy Dido, he just finds writers who will carry out his agendas for him, like John Jeffries and Tom Queen. Not looking forward to this at all. I didn't like the direction for the character. I didn't like the writer. Is it too presumptuous for me to predict it will probably get destroyed? Then we have 2 issues of Arrow, 132 and 133. I got these because they are more Electric Superman stuff. I didn't know how heavily the Justice League are involved in this story, but I find it noteworthy that it is a rare guest appearance of the red version of Electric Superman. Also, get ready for something I never thought I would ever say. This cover is pretty good. And it is by Bill Son of a Bitch. To balance it out, this cover is terrible. And the art itself is just fine, but the image is a strong image. This is the only piece of Bill Son of a Bitch art I have ever considered better than terrible. The next one, can I get a couple of likes for my restraint in not just buying all 5 issues of this miniseries? This is Legend. It comes from the heyday of Marvel greatness. You know what I always say, you cannot go wrong with any Marvel comic from 2013 onwards. Hit after hit. Squirrel Woman, Miss Muslim, Devil Girl and Moon Dinosaur. It after it. More hits than Rodney King. And I cannot wait to complete my collection of all the lenticular covers. There is a strong possibility this is the same hipster rubbish most of the comics were at this point, but I have been aware and curious about this one for a while, since it is written by Spike Milligan, who is, or was, a credible writer, and about 10 years ago I would have thought him and this character were an obvious pairing. The other thing is I obviously have my weird affection for this character, Dan Stevens. His Marvel Now series is the only Marvel Now series I bothered reading. I still thought it was just okay at best. But this was the only attempt to push the character after he got a TV series. I know some people really hated on the art on this cover and thought it was crap, but I didn't mind it. Less promising is opening up to a random page and seeing this. And there's that on back. This is going to be dreadful, isn't it? I also got 2 long boxes, which I have needed for a few months, and will hopefully allow me to access the comics I've not been able to get to for a while, since there's piles of comics just on top of the boxes. That was my haul, and somehow, even though there wasn't even 10 comics. I managed to drag the video out for ages. I've got to give my opinionated verbosity a 7 thumbs up. Also, you might see a little face in the bottom right of the video. That is a toy of Nimrod, and you can click that to subscribe to the channel. But don't do that if you're already subscribed, because that will unsubscribe you, and I didn't want to lose a subscriber. But if you're not subscribed, then subscribe. And also click like on the video, because my in real life nemesis, he has started paying for subscribers and views and likes on YouTube. And I am above that, but I am not above begging.